What if the most dangerous moment in prehistory was not a hunt, a predator, or a winter storm, but the moment a baby was born? Today, birth happens under bright lights, with monitors, trained hands, clean tools, and emergency help nearby. But remove all of that for a moment. No hospital, no anesthesia, no antibiotics, no ambulance outside, just a cold shelter, a small fire, and people afraid to lose someone. For ancient humans, birth was not only a private family event. It may have been one of the most fragile survival tests a group faced. A mother could become exhausted. A newborn could be too weak. The night could freeze. Infection could turn a small wound into serious danger. Unlike a hunt, where people could sometimes choose when to risk their lives, birth came when it came, during hunger, storms, or migration. The future of the group depended on the smallest, weakest body inside it. A baby unable to stand, walk, feed, or defend itself. Look at a newborn horse. Within hours, it can wobble upward and follow the herd. A human baby cannot even hold up its head. This helplessness is not a small detail. It may be one of the deepest clues to what kind of animal humans really are. We often imagine prehistoric survival as muscle, weapons, and courage. But birth reveals another side: patience, care, memory, cooperation, and fear. Around a firelit cave, a baby's cry could change everything. Someone kept the fire alive. Someone watched the entrance for the group. Someone brought water, shared food, calmed the mother, protected the older children, and remembered what helped the last time birth became dangerous. The group had no medical textbooks, but it had older people, repeated experience, careful observation, and the knowledge that mistakes mattered. So the story of human birth is not only about pain or danger, it is about why humans may have needed each other deeply. To understand that, we must begin with the strange truth that every human life starts unfinished, fragile, protected, and completely dependent on others. A human baby is born helpless in a way that feels almost impossible. It cannot escape danger, find food, or understand the world around it. But this weakness may be connected to one of humanity's greatest strengths: a brain that keeps growing, learning, and absorbing culture after birth for years. The old explanation sounds simple. Humans walk upright, our pelvis changed, our babies have large heads, so birth became difficult over evolutionary time. But scientists still debate the full story. The reality may involve pelvis shape, brain growth, energy limits, infant development, and many overlapping pressures. This matters because the simple version makes evolution sound like bad design. The deeper version is stranger. Humans evolved through compromise and trade-offs. A baby born too early is helpless. A baby born too late may be too difficult to deliver safely. Between those risks, life begins. That does not mean every ancient birth was a disaster. It means birth carried a special danger that the whole group understood. The newborn came into the world needing warmth immediately. Not tomorrow, not after the hunt, not when the storm passed. Immediately. It needed milk, arms, shelter, quiet, protection, and adults who could read tiny signals before danger became visible to everyone around them. And the mother, after birth, also needed protection. She might need rest, food, warmth, help moving, and time to recover. So in one moment, the group gained a future member, but also gained a crisis. Two vulnerable lives at the center of camp. This is why human childhood is so important. Our babies are not just small adults, they are long-term projects of survival. A mammoth hunt could feed a group for days, but a child required years of calories, attention, teaching, patience, and protection. The baby's weakness forced time to stretch. Survival was no longer only about getting through tonight. It became about protecting tomorrow, and that tomorrow could not be carried by one person alone. It needed a circle of hands, firelight, memory, and shared fear. Imagine the scene without turning it into horror. A cold night, a shelter of stone, hide, and smoke, with a small group speaking softly. The fire is not decoration. It is heat, light, protection, and comfort. If it fades, the whole shelter becomes more dangerous. Outside, the world does not pause because a baby is coming. Wind still moves. Animals still listen. Hunger still waits until morning. Inside, people gather close, not with modern instruments, but with water, hides, steady hands, and knowledge surviving from older births. The oldest person may remember what happened before, what helped, what frightened everyone, what signs meant the mother needed more support. This is one of the most powerful things about humans. Memory does not have to live only inside the person giving birth. It can live in grandmothers, sisters, companions, older children watching from the shadows, and stories told carefully after danger passes. But there were limits. No one could measure blood pressure, perform modern surgery, or sterilize tools the way hospitals do now. A problem modern medicine might solve quickly could become frightening in a prehistoric camp. That is why we must not romanticize ancient birth. Natural did not always mean safe. Ancient did not always mean stronger. Toughness could not replace clean medicine, emergency care, or pain relief. Still, those people were not helpless fools. They were observers of bodies, seasons, animals, plants, heat, sickness, and recovery. They may have known helpful positions, comforting people, plants believed to soothe, and rituals that reduced fear when fear became too heavy. Some knowledge worked, some may not have. But in a world without hospitals, any remembered pattern could feel like a lifeline. And when the baby finally cried, that sound was not just noise, it was information. Life had crossed a dangerous doorway. But now, the second challenge began. The group had to keep that tiny life warm, fed, protected, and alive through the next days. Human babies do not survive on milk alone. They survive inside a network. Arms, voices, warmth, food sharing, protection, and constant attention. This is where a helpless newborn may have shaped human society. A baby that needs so much care creates pressure for cooperation. One adult can carry a child. But one adult cannot always gather food, guard the shelter, recover from birth, and protect everyone alone. So other hands mattered. An elder near the fire, a sibling fetching kindling, a hunter sharing meat, a gatherer bringing roots. This kind of care is sometimes called allo-parenting, care from individuals beyond the biological mother. In humans, it may be deeply important. We should be careful. Prehistoric family life did not look the same everywhere. Different groups, climates, and traditions may have handled birth differently. But the basic pressure is easy to understand. A helpless baby turns survival into a team problem, not a private challenge. And once survival becomes a team problem, emotions become tools. Concern, bonding, guilt, tenderness, and responsibility can hold people near the child. A baby's face pulls attention. A cry cuts through conversation. Small fingers make adults soften, even when the outside world stays brutal. Maybe this is not weakness. Maybe this is how humans built a circle of care strong enough to protect unfinished life. The child in the middle of the fire circle teaches adults what matters. Not only hunting, not only tools, but staying together. That lesson may have reached beyond birth. If the group protected babies, it could also protect injured adults, elders, and the sick. Care became more than kindness. It became a survival strategy, keeping knowledge, relationships, and future workers alive inside the group. In that sense, the weakest member of the group may have helped make the whole group more patient, protective, and human. But cooperation always has a cost, and children are expensive in the oldest currency: food, time, sleep, and risk. A newborn does not bring food into camp. It does not repair tools, carry firewood, track animals, or warn others about danger. For years, a child consumes energy before giving much back. In a harsh environment, that is a serious survival calculation. Someone must feed the mother. Someone must keep older children close. Someone must make sure crying does not attract danger at night. Someone must decide when the group can move, how far they can travel, and who carries the child when the trail grows difficult. This is why ancient parenting was not simply an emotional story. It was logistics, timing, energy, and social trust. Food sharing becomes critical. A lucky hunter, skilled gatherer, or elder who knows hidden plants can support more than themselves. When calories are shared, a baby's survival no longer depends only on one mother's strength. It depends on the group's willingness to protect weakness. And weakness is not permanent. The child who cannot walk today may become the adult who remembers water sources, tracks, songs, and warnings. This long childhood may be one reason humans learn so much. We are born unfinished, but that leaves room for culture. A young child watches how adults crack stone, scrape hides, calm fear, divide food, and speak to one another after conflict. The camp becomes the first school. The fire becomes the first classroom. The elder becomes a living library before writing exists. Every skill must pass through fragile bodies. A baby survives, becomes a child, observes, imitates, fails, learns, and carries the group forward. So the cost of childhood is enormous. But the reward is also enormous. A mind shaped by years of social learning. Human babies may be weak at birth, but they arrive with a hidden power. They force knowledge to become shared. And that makes the old myth about ancient mothers even more misleading. The real story was never simple toughness alone. There is a dangerous modern myth that ancient women simply gave birth easily because they were tougher, stronger, or somehow more natural than us. This sounds respectful at first, but it can hide the truth. A hard life does not magically make a dangerous birth safe. Ancient mothers were not characters in a survival fantasy. They were real people facing real risks with fewer tools than medicine provides today. They may have been strong, experienced, and surrounded by practical knowledge. But strength is not the same thing as safety. A difficult birth is difficult because bodies, timing, position, exhaustion, and chance can collide. Courage cannot remove every risk. Modern medicine changed childbirth not because humans became weak, but because birth has always been important enough to protect. Hospitals, midwives, emergency care, hygiene, and pain relief are not insults to nature. They are extensions of an ancient pattern. Help. The fire circle becomes the clinic. The elder becomes remembered knowledge. The shared food becomes recovery support. The group becomes protection. Seen this way, modern birth care is not separate from prehistory. It is the same instinct, expanded with science and tools. That is why we should not imagine the ancient mother alone in the dark, silently enduring everything without help. A more human image is a small circle. One person in danger, others watching, helping, waiting, afraid, and hopeful. Maybe the miracle was never that birth was easy. Maybe the miracle was that humans learned not to face it alone. And once humans learned that lesson, it may have shaped how we reacted to babies forever, from ancient camps to modern rooms. Because even today, a baby's cry can stop a room. A tiny face can reorganize the emotions of exhausted adults. That reaction may be one of the oldest echoes inside modern life, a small sound carrying the memory of ancient fires. In a modern apartment, a baby cries at 3 a.m., and exhausted adults wake instantly. The room is safe, but the body reacts urgently. That urgency may not be random. For most of human history, ignoring a baby's signal could become dangerous very quickly. Cold, hunger, sickness, separation, and predators were not abstract ideas. They were pressures around small bodies that could not protect themselves. So adult humans became sensitive to infant cues, crying, facial expressions, warmth, breathing, movement, and distress. This does not mean every person reacts the same way. Culture, stress, health, experience, and support all matter. But it suggests something powerful. Babies are not only cared for, because they are cute. They are cared for because humans are social survivors. A nursery, a hospital room, a lullaby, a grandparent's arms, even a tired parent walking circles at night, all have ancient shadows. They are modern versions of the fire circle. Keep the child warm, keep the mother supported, keep the group close. When people bring food after a birth, when relatives visit, when friends ask what is needed, they repeat an old pattern. Not every modern family has enough support, and that may be why early parenthood can feel so overwhelming in isolated modern life. A baby was never meant to be a solo project. Human infancy may have evolved inside a world of shared attention. This is the modern twist. We built cities, hospitals, apps, and delivery services, but the ancient need for help did not disappear. A parent alone at night with a crying baby may be living inside a mismatch, an ancient group need inside a modern private room. Prehistory does not give us simple answers, but it does remind us that dependence is not failure. Dependence may be the first human condition, the starting point before strength, independence, language, tools, or any story we tell about ourselves. So, what does the most dangerous birth in prehistory reveal about us? It reveals that humans were never born ready. We were born needing warmth before strength, voices before language, arms before walking, and protection before independence. The first human problem was not how to be alone. It was how to keep each other alive long enough to become ourselves. A newborn in a prehistoric shelter was a risk, yes, but it was also a promise. If the baby survived, the group gained more than another mouth. It gained a future memory keeper, toolmaker, storyteller, parent, or friend. The child might one day remember where berries grew, how rivers changed, which stones cut best, and which stories warned of danger. But none of that future existed unless the group protected a life that began completely helpless. That is the strange beauty of human evolution. Our weakness did not simply hold us back. It may have pulled us closer together. The fire kept cold away. The group kept fear away. The elder kept memory alive. The child kept the future open. And somewhere, before cities, names, written laws, or hospitals, a newborn's cry may have reminded everyone why the group mattered. Not because survival was heroic every moment, not because ancient people were fearless, but because nobody survives alone for long. Today, when a baby sleeps under electric light, the scene looks modern, but the emotional structure is ancient. Someone watches, someone worries, someone brings warmth, someone remembers what to do, someone whispers, "You are safe." And maybe that is the oldest sentence humans have been trying to say, long before words became clear. We were not born powerful, we were born needing each other, and somehow that weakness became one of humanity's greatest strengths.